In the second part of your book, you write about word power. What's that exactly?
There's a quote from Quack This Way, written by an author, David Foster Wallace. And he said that writing and speaking well means there's an electricity about it. So that's why I call it word power. And get back to the idea of connection. You know, specific words help us to connect with each other. It could be I resent you for walking away from me when I'm talking to you. Or it could be I appreciate you for the way you looked at me last night when I was talking to that other person. That's specific because it's a time. Word power is specific language that helps us to get to know each other better and to be more at one with another. And an example of that would be if I wanted to persuade you to do something, there's a word that can change the course of a conversation. It's willing. So the word willing. Most adjectives are junk, apart from colours, but willing is an example of an adjective that helps us to connect. So try this out when you're next asking a colleague to help you with something. Say, would you be willing to do this for me tomorrow, now, whenever, and see what the response is, rather than what's the common way to ask for help. What do people use?
Would you like?
Would you like is a good one. So would you like is word trash, because nobody really wants to take the garbage out. But would they be willing to do it? Hell yes, maybe, right? But would you be willing? What it does, it helps to create that connection because it puts the will into the person you're asking to do it. So then they feel like, oh, it's of their own will, their own choosing to do it, not because they're doing a favor to you. So can you do me a favor is not a good way to ask for help. That's more word trash. Would you be willing is word power. Willing itself, it's a strong word. Another thing, so there's some science to that, okay? A social professor of social interaction at the University of Loughborough in the UK. I had to take a deep breath because of the mask. Loughborough in the UK. She studied her and her colleagues, they studied thousands of hours of conversations, and they looked at psychologists made their patients to go to a meditation session. Initially, the patients had said no, but when the same patients were asked, would you be willing to go to this meditation session, some of them changed their mind. They even interrupted the psychologist to say yes, they would go. So that's how powerful willing is. And the same thing happened with doctors. Would you be willing to go to a weight loss class? People had said no, obese people, and when they were asked, would you be willing? Yep, more of them went. They said yes. Another example of it is using the verb speak rather than talk. Think about talk. It's used with so many other idioms, like you talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk. Talk is cheap. Whereas speaking, you visualize a mouth and a tongue moving and words coming out of someone's mouth. Talking, yeah, you might imagine that as well, but it's associated with lots of other things. And so in a crisis situation, you can form a connection with a person in distress by asking them something more specific than, would you like to speak about this? Or can we speak about this? If you say, can we talk? People are likely to say no. And one final example. Often at the end of presentations, people will add a slide that says, any questions? Any is very open-ended. It's difficult to connect with. It's word trash. Often in presentations I found that people don't ask questions if you have a slide that says any questions. But if you're more specific and you say, does someone have a question, or who has a question about this? More likely to open up a dialogue, a connection.